Are we live? Okay, we are live. Hello. Let's roll our shoulders back. Let's take a stretch. Oh, do you guys hear my neck crack? That was me. If you're joining me live today, I see some of you are popping on already. Say hi and just leave a comment so I know who's here. If you are watching the replay, you know what to do. Hashtag replay, or if you're cool like that, hashtag reslay. I've got some rainbows on me. You guys are going to catch them. I have such a cool crystal in my window. And it, do you guys know those crystals that shine rainbows on you when the sunlight comes through? My toddler is down for her nap. Praise the Lord. And I am here to talk to you today about how to get unstuck in your relationship with your man. So if you are here for it, let me know, leave a comment. Also, this is totally a safe, non-judgmental space. So if you want to share anything, if you are feeling stuck, you can leave an emoji. If you recently had a breakthrough with your partner, also leave an emoji. I love to celebrate the wins of the goddesses in my world that are feeling great in their relationships. And I'm also here for those of you, my husband's closing the door, pardon, that are going through challenges. And that's why registration for my Legendary Goddess Wife School is open right now at goddesswifeschool.com. That's why I'm doing this live, because you might have noticed I've been going live almost every day in celebration of Goddess Wife School being open. I love to share all the secrets, all the information for how you too can feel like a goddess in your relationship every day. And I don't know about you, but when I feel stuck, when I feel frustrated, when I feel like I'm repeating patterns of frustration, look, it's a rainbow, feeling patterns of frustration in my relationship, I definitely don't feel like a goddess. I feel pessimistic. I feel bitchy. I feel like a victim, right? Like life is unfair. Like I don't get what I want. Like I never get what I want. A lot of stories start to circulate in my mind, and then I feel it, right? It feels a lot like anxiety and like, look at all these rainbows. It's going to be a good live if there's rainbows shooting at me. And as a somatic therapist and as an NLP practitioner, my whole basis of training is in helping my incredible clients get unstuck, right? I don't want you to feel stuck, because being stuck is the opposite of being in flow. And we all know that when we're in flow, life feels good, everything feels possible, right? Like even your whole body, when you're in flow, you're just like, right? It's a very different feeling than how most of us operate, which is really clenched and tight, right? How many of us have neck pain or jaw pain? How many of us spend so much time looking at the computer, looking at our phone, or holding children, or doing things like this, right? We can be so stuck and so constricted, and that is the opposite state than so many of us desire to be. Being expansive, being soft, being touchable, being in flow, like letting, basically when we're in that kind of place physically, right? And leave a comment if you felt the difference, right? My rainbows are telling me that, right? It's like you have those days when everything feels like it's working, when clients are signing up with you, when you and your man are doing good, when your kids are behaving, when money's just coming to you. We all know those days, versus those days when we're not in flow and we're stuck, and we feel like, when it rains, it pours, and the other shoe is dropping, and everything's hard. And I get it, right? And nobody can only live in flow, right? That's not how it works. So I'm not here to peddle some kind of like false gospel to you about like always being happy, always being positive, always feeling in flow, right? However, when you're a goddess wife, or when you do the work that I do with my clients, what you're able to do is when you feel stuck, which is totally normal, and that's part of growth, you know how to work with that energy, respond to that energy, and take care of yourself, and let it be part of that flow and manifestation. Because if you think about it, right, if you think about anything that you've ever wanted or any growth that you've ever done, there have been those parts when you felt like you couldn't believe it, or when things weren't happening for you, or when things didn't look like they were shaping up the way that they were supposed to, and then you got frustrated or you got triggered or you got annoyed or whatever, right? But what does this have to do with relationships? So let's take it back, right? Because although I could coach on a lot of things, really where I've been finding my heart is in relationship coaching. And I call it relationship success coaching because the women that I work with are successful, right? You're building businesses, you're climbing the corporate ladder, you have like dreams for your life, you're a visionary, just like me, right? You love to get what you want, right? Nothing feels better than getting what you want. But for a lot of you, you're not having that experience with your partner unless you're accepting like a substandard version, right? Or you're not like 100% happy, or you were taught to compromise. And so you're like always dialing it back and always like, trying to be gracious, but it doesn't always work. And it doesn't really feel good. And the truth is, it doesn't feel good for you. It also doesn't feel good for your man at the same time, because he loves you and he wants you to be happy. And when you're happy, he's happy, and it makes life better. Like one of my favorite, I feel like most misunderstood expressions is happy wife, happy life, right? Because your man knows, and you should know too, that when you are happy, when you are heartful, when you are turned on, everything benefits, right? Everything, your kids, your job, your money making, your love making, your relationships, everything benefits. But most of us, especially when we feel stuck, especially when we feel not in flow, we find the opposite pattern starting to happen in our lives and with our man. And when it feels like we're in that pattern with our partner, that's when it can be really frustrating and also feel really heartbreaking, because I know that you want things to be different, but then you find yourself in the same pattern. You find yourself in the same pattern, right? And you don't know how things can change because your man keeps doing the same thing and you keep not liking it, and you keep trying to explain or connect with him and he keeps pulling away, and there keeps being misunderstandings, right? And why do I know how to talk about it? Because hello, I've lived it, and sometimes I still do live it. And that's why I love launching Goddess Wife School, because I get to do Goddess Wife School too. I get to make my relationship better. I get to go deeper with the lessons. So I'm really excited about this one. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to know is, if you feel stuck, I want you to understand that it's not going to be like this forever. Okay, that absolutely 100%. If you do something different, if you show up different, if you work with your energy differently, if you get new tools, there's no way that the relationship can possibly stay the same. As you elevate, as you expand, as you have new strategies, there's no way that the other person in the dynamic can remain the same. It's just totally fucking impossible for that. And so the good news is that even though this stuff might have been going on in the past, whatever's gone on in the past, it doesn't mean anything about what's possible for your relationship with your partner moving forward. Okay. And if you use these tools, if you understand what I'm sharing with you, you can actually see a change in your man like today. Like if you're ready for it, if you're committed, if you are deciding to do it different and to show up different, you can see a change like that. I can say that with total frankness because I watch it happen again and again, whether in my workshops, in my master classes, or inside my Goddess Wife School, where we'll start a session or we'll start a video and my client will be like, my man, it feels like we're roommates, right? It feels like we're roommates and he doesn't touch me. He isn't affectionate with me. He doesn't get close to me. And especially it gets worse. I'm thinking about one of my clients right now. It gets worse the better I am in my business, or the more success I have, or when I'm doing like a really big launch, it feels like me and my partner are even more separate. And he is even more distant, and it really is messing with me, right? Because this is my client talking. It's really messing with her because she wants her relationship to be rock solid. She wants to feel fully supported and totally well fucked and like super taken care of and so juicy with her man. Because when she's in that good energy, when you have that with your relationship, doesn't it impact your business in amazing ways, right? Doesn't it make you more creative and more magnetic? And doesn't it help you get like better results and have more energy and all that good stuff, right? When we feel stuck in our relationships, the opposite happens, right? It feels like all of our attention and energy and passion and focus gets diverted to the problems in our relationship. And then that can be part of like a negative spiral that starts where, it's our man's fault that we can't do X, Y, and Z, or, it's the fault of the relationship, or when good things happen, my relationship goes sour. I'm like watching rainbows. Sorry to get distracted. I love it. And while that looks like that may be the case, and maybe right now for you it is the case, it can be so different. And literally, like, I'm in a launch right now, right? Like, I'm launching Goddess Wife School, and it's almost like a little joke at this point. Every time I do a launch, I get in a major fight with my husband. But what I learn, right, is that now I understand that those kinds of fights or struggles, right? Remember what I talked about in the beginning of the video? Those are actually opportunities, because I know that that's part of the manifestation. That's part of the recreation and the growth that I'm doing, because I have the tools so that these fights don't lead me to, hate my partner, or assume he doesn't want me to be successful, or think that he's tearing me down. I understand that these kinds of fights are those opportunities where I can really understand what isn't working, either in my relationship or my business, or how I balance my energy, and what I get to do, the opportunity that I get to have to do something better and different, so that I can feel good, and also so that my partner can feel good, so that my clients can feel good, so that my business can feel good too. So when I feel stuck with my partner, okay, in order to shift it quickly, the best thing that you can do, the best thing that you can possibly do if you feel stuck with your partner, whether you have a disagreement, or whether you catch him like doing something and you're like, oh my God, not again, right? And something in you gets triggered or annoyed or bothered, and all of your energy might want to zero in right on that thing that is driving you crazy, or that he's doing wrong, or that's like making your blood pressure go up and your teeth clench and you're just like, not again. The best thing that you can do, the thing that I love to teach inside of Goddess Wife School, is take a step back, is lean back and create a space. Okay, because you know as well as I do that just getting triggered, getting angry, raising the intensity, right, in a confrontational kind of way in that moment, in order to like expel that feeling that's inside of you, that's not going to give you the results that you want. Okay, it doesn't feel good for you, or maybe that's not true. It feels good for you in the moment. I understand why, because it's a release. But there's lots of other ways to have releases that aren't going to keep driving a wedge between you and your partner, and that are going to be not part of that cycle of getting more distant and more distant. And you're a woman, right? You're an adult, sovereign, divine goddess. This is why I teach Goddess Wife School. I'm not teaching you how to like be a wife. I don't know how to be a wife, okay? But I do know how to be a goddess wife, and I know how to feel like a goddess in my relationship, in my marriage every day, whether things are amazing or things are hard, right? And that's what I'm teaching you how to do. That's the tools that I'm teaching inside of Goddess Wife School, and the strategies and the reframes, how to show up no matter what is going on, so you don't keep drilling in those problems and those issues, so you don't keep repeating those patterns and feeling like you're struggling, and feeling like you're stuck, and feeling like you keep getting the same outcomes. How you get to show up different, and not because you have to, and not because you're wrong, and not because of all of that like extra burden on your shoulders. No, because it actually feels better for you to do it that way, because it actually gives you more freedom, and it gives you more energy, and it lets you stay heart connected, and it lets you be in flow the way that you want to be, right? We want to be in flow. When we're in flow, that's when all the magic happens, the juiciness happens, the connection happens, the possibility happens. So if you feel stuck with your man, it's okay. We all do sometimes. If you feel like you're repeating patterns, again, it's okay. We all do sometimes. It doesn't mean something is wrong. But what it does mean is that you have an opportunity now to actually do what you want to do, which is not be his mom, and not nag him, and not go into like boss mode, and not dominate him, and not try to like get him to do whatever you need him to do so that you can just relax and be happy. Because when you get stuck on that, what that means is that your joy and your ease and your peace is contingent on something outside of yourself. And that's when we feel like victims, when somebody else has to do or be something so that we can be okay. And that's like a false dichotomy there, right? You're already okay. Everything is totally okay, but we get triggered and we forget that our logical brain whoop, goes out the window, and then our emotional response or like life and death response gets activated. I feel you. This is everything I'm teaching inside of Goddess Wife School, is how you can have the tools to take care of yourself, to handle your emotions, not only to just handle them, but to actually alchemize them, to use them as energy, to tap into the wisdom of what you're feeling and actually elevate as a goddess instead of a frazzled wife or a burnt out woman that has to do it all and be responsible for everything. This is the self-care that I am interested in and that I teach about on the deepest, deepest, deepest levels. So instead of just waiting for your partner to keep triggering you over and over again, which he will, because relationships, that's what relationships are. We rub up against each other, whether in a sexy way or whether in an emotional kind of way. And that is the opportunity for us to grow and to be better and to recognize what isn't working so that we can co-create what is working together. So if you can learn how to lean back, how to walk away, how to do embodiment practices, how to do emotional release techniques like the ones that I teach inside of Goddess Wife School, how to shift your energy and activate it and use it instead of just dumping it on him, which doesn't help him and sort of helps you in the moment, but it has a boomerang effect that doesn't necessarily feel good or give you what you really need. How to actually work with those feelings and tap into the wisdom and that's actually going to bring you closer to your partner. It's going to connect you to him more. It's going to bring you closer, and it's going to allow him to actually support you and be next to you in the way that you really want and that he really wants to, instead of this shame and blame, anger, pattern, trigger, angry kind of thing that we all go through, but it totally sucks and we don't have to. So if this video was helpful to you, please leave a comment. Let me know what you learned. If you know another woman that is stuck in this cycle with her partner and you know that she deserves to have it different because she's amazing, tag her or send her this video or invite her to my Facebook group so that she can learn how to do it different. And if you're interested in becoming a goddess wife, feeling like a goddess every day in your relationship, because you have it inside of you already. We just never learned the tools, right? And we never learned how to activate that energy and to do it feels so good for us. We were taught this lie that we can't do those things. We're operating from another mentality and another energy that maybe was necessary when we were only in survival mode. But I want to remind you that you're not in survival mode all the time. You don't have to be. And most of us married our partners for love, not survival. And not for marrying into his estate so that we have the money to secure like our family lineage, right? It's not Bridgerton over here. It's a whole other kind of reality. And when you are in a love relationship, you have the opportunity to meet and co-create anything that you can possibly desire, but most of us aren't doing that. Most of us are just compromising so we can stay together another day and not have things fall apart. And I get that because we saw that modeled by our families and in society and in past generations. But just because you saw that normalized, that doesn't mean that's the experience that you need to have in your relationship. And I would love to teach you something different. I'd love to teach you another way that feels really good for you. And when you're feeling really good, it feels really good for your partner too, and really good for your kids. And those of you that have kids or want kids, this is the best gift that you can give them, is modeling a different kind of relationship, an infinite relationship where everything is possible together in partnership instead of what you saw modeled for you in the past. So I invite you to please join us inside of Goddess Wife School. This is the 4th time I'm running this legendary program. I love it so much. I'm just looking at the list of the amazing women that have already signed up. It's such a beautiful group of professional women from all walks of life, all types of relationships, all ages, all backgrounds. It's a safe space for women that want to feel like goddesses in their relationships, period. That you want to lean back and receive more from your man. You want to inspire him instead of feeling like you need to manage him or nag him or be disappointed in him. That totally sucks. And when we do that, we don't feel like goddesses at all. So if you want to experience that change, it's at goddesswifeschool.com. I have a few VIP spots left if you want deeper one-on-one support inside the program. So you can message me if you want to claim one of those. Please share this video, send it around, comment. Let's talk about this. Let's be the model for a different kind of relationship with our man. It's so possible. And I want you to feel like a goddess every day. Loving you. Bye.